Hello, hello, hello on a Wednesday night. We appreciate each and every one of you for coming in. God bless America and God bless you. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal and endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. And among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Guys and gals that's coming to the tournament, we hope to make you happy and put you on some fish. That's what this show is all about tonight. So chat should slow down. If you come into the tournament, you want to pay attention. Or if any time in the future you come into Lake Wylie to fish, you might want to pay attention. We got some good people in here that know Lake Wylie. And one of them are out on the screen right now, Mr. Dieter Melhorn with us. What's up, Mr. Melhorn?
What's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing good. I'm coming to you remote from hunt camp down here in South Carolina. So that's why I have the interesting background.
And we got an interesting, you kind of freezing up, not freezing up, but we'll deal with that. I don't know if it's your end, my end, but I figured that out where you're
at. I'm in the middle of nowhere, so hopefully there's some kind of cell signal here going on.
Okay. Well, guys, don't forget to like, share, hit the thumbs up. You know what to do. Well, let's get started. Lake Wylie. Dieter, South Point Boatland is where we're putting out for the tournament. We got quite a few people that's going to bank fish, and I am going to let everybody know that all the way around South Point Boatland, and thank you, Mike's Outdoors, for that. I appreciate that, buddy. I know the veterans do. Dieter, we over $1,050 right now going to the veterans from these people right like Mike.
A big shout out to Mike's Outdoors and Adventures. That's a heck of a contribution, man. Thank you for doing that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. But what I'm going to do is kind of restrict any boat fishing right around the landing, South Point Boat Landing, simply because give these guys and gals that's fishing off the bank room to put their rods out and to fish. I know it's a good spot. I know a lot of people like to hit that area right there while you're on a boat. That's where my biggest fish come from. So let's kind of give them areas to fish. Lake Wylie is a good lake. There's a lot of great water, and we got two people on boats right now, so y'all liable to get to see some fish tonight. Mid-April, you pull out of Lake Wylie. You never been there before. Which way up that lake are you going, Dieter?
You can go either way. I mean, that's the cool thing with anybody that's coming there. You can catch fish in just about either direction going out of the ramp. There's a lot of structure there. I guess I should start by saying I think the shallow water fishing is going to be good then, and there's a lot of good options for that. Honestly, you could go straight out of South Point into Withers Cove on the other side. And honestly, from the mouth all the way back behind the bridge, there's a really, really good chance of catching some decent fish in there. That's what we're going to discuss with David and Jeff. That's where they're at right now. Yep. So well, there's one of my places. They're parked in it already. I'll give you another one that is not far from the ramp, and it's basically going down the lake. Before you get to the South Fork on the left-hand side, there is an island, and there's a whole bunch of ups and downs, and there's a steep channel edge. There's basically an extended point coming off that island, and then a little creek ditch that kind of goes in behind it. There is a lot of good fishing in there. There's usually perch in there that time of the year, and it's another good area that flatheads come out of and some decent blues come out of. It's one you don't have to run far to get to. Another area that's real good, again close to the boat ramp, is coming out of the ramp, turn left, far bank. It's a very steep bank. You'll see a bunch of blowed down trees and steep stairs going to boat ramps. There is a lot of structure in that area on the bottom.
Yes.
A lot of limbs, a lot of trees, a lot of stuff falling into the lake. Very good place for flatheads. It's also basically the area right above the boat ramp before they dammed it up, there was an island there. You got a river channel on basically both sides of it, and that was the minor side of it. There's steep stuff in there. So those are great places that are close by for people that don't want to run a long ways. Now, if you want to make a run, and most people won't.
What I'm pointing out right here is the public hole at the steam plant.
Yep.
That's an easy form to find. Is, you know, most graphs, you don't even have to have a Navionics card on your graph to be able to search the decent spots up here around this steam plant.
Yep.
You fish a lot up there next to another little spot next to, well, it's on up the lake that I've seen you setting at before. Tell them a little bit about this area if you don't mind, because it's easy for them to find this.
Yeah. The power plant first used to be a lot better when they would run the plant more, because it would basically take water in through that water intake area. There was always debris and crap and stuff down there. It was actually a good flathead hole. They don't use the plant as much as they used to, except for peak water demand now. So you don't get as much water getting sucked into it for the cooling and stuff. But there's still a lot of stuff that tends to pond up right there in that area. And it can end up being a decent place to fish. Further up the river, there's Paul Creek. It's a big feeder creek that comes in. You know, it's a popular area to fish. It'll probably get pounded. There'll probably be a lot of people up there. It's a feast or famine place. You'll either catch them or you won't. And you'll know pretty quickly whether it's working or not. It's like a lot of those places. There's a shallow shoal up through there, and you know,
there's Paul Creek up there right there now, Dieter.
Yeah, it's a popular, you know, area to fish. I will say this, in all honesty, it hasn't been good lately for some reason, but that's the way a lot of these places are. You know, you'll get on streaks and it's great, and a lot of that has to do with shad, perch, that kind of stuff that's moving through and what's feeding, whether you got crappie spawning and stuff. And it hasn't been a home run lately for whatever reason, but you know, it's one of the places you can still visit and try out. I've got a guide trip that day, so it's up in the air whether I'll get to fish, but I will probably be fishing in some creeks and stuff more than the main river area. Not that you can't catch fish there, you can. But I say, I'm just trying to think I'm trying to picture a week ahead. Weather's going to play a part. Right now, weather looks good. We get a whole bunch of rain. The creeks definitely, I think, will be on fire. But you know, if any of the guys in there are crappie fishermen or crappie fishermen, as some people say, go to where the crappie are. That's kind of some good advice on Wylie. And
yes, sir.
If they're, you know, in the creeks pulling up to the bank and stuff, and the temperature should be getting pretty good by then. We were 85 degrees today, and it's only getting down to 50 some at night, and that water temperature should be cranking on up there. You know, that will be some areas to be looking at. But trying to circle back to, I know I'm throwing a whole bunch of stuff out here. The biggest thing for people that are new to the lake, you don't have to run all over the lake to find fish. You do not have to go far. You know, now granted, one day one place may be hot, and the next day it may not. That's just the way it is in the spring sometimes. But yeah, don't feel, you know, I could send somebody all the way down to Torrance Creek at the other end of the lake. Great place to fish in the springtime, great shallow water fishing, but I don't know, it's a 12, 14 mile run down there. There's really no reason to go to that place to go fishing down there.
No.
Beaver Creek, same way. You could go in the back of Beaver Creek and catch fish. But
like a Big Allison.
Yeah, why run that far when there's stuff that is very, very close to the South Point boat ramp? And you got a lot of options. So trying to think of which direction I would get. I'm sitting here thinking I've got a guide. Of course, that's a week out. I play it by ear on what's going on.
Right.
Which way would I go? Which way would I go? There's going to be, you're going to have how many boats? 70 some boats? In
almost 70 boats.
What time are y'all blasting off? I'm already mapping out.
7 a.m.
7 a.m. Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna have my God party meet me at 6 a.m. so we can beat the crowd and get out of there because that's gonna be bad. Some of it. I mean, with that many boats and coming out of there, some of the popular places going to the South Fork, Paul Creek, they may get crowded. I mean, there may be a lot of those places get pounded. And
that's why, I was going to tell them that there's other creeks out there that actually produce very well. And that's Catawba Creek. That's the next one down below the South Fork.
Yep.
There's some good shallows back there in the back, but be very careful. Once you get back there past that island, be very careful.
Oh yeah, once you're past the buoys, depending on what the lake level is, it can get interesting back there. It should be, that's another area. It should be good in the morning. You shouldn't get much boat traffic. But if it's warm, that's another thing on Wylie. On a Saturday, you will be dealing with boat traffic. So getting away from some of that can be a good thing. Try to catch, and it's going to be one of the deals. What time's your weigh-in? I don't even know what time weigh-in is.
3. The rod's out of the water at 3. Weigh-in starts at 3:30. The weigh-in really starts at 4. So anywhere between 3:30 and 4.
Catch your fish early, because if it's like the temperatures we had today, where it's 87 degrees, that lake will get out from lunchtime on. So the backs of those creeks are safe getaways. You'll get some boat traffic back in the backs, of Withers or of Catawba Creek or Mills Creek, but you're generally not going to have the wakeboarders and all that kind of stuff on there. So you get a little bit of a reprieve from some of that boat traffic in those areas. As far as the upriver, people always ask about the river running up the Catawba. It's a crapshoot. As with any river fishing, generally they're not going to be pulling any water in the morning unless we get a lot of rain, and that's something anybody that's near the lake. It's a power demand kind of deal, so it's probably going to be midday afternoon before they pull any water up there.
Right.
And our lake's should be pretty stable by then. I haven't looked at it here in the past couple of days because I've been chasing turkeys down here, but the lake's pretty stable. Everything should be clear. And it will be good fishing anchored or drifting. Obviously if you're fishing shallow, I'm not a big fan of drifting shallow. You really got to know your game to drift shallow as far as planer boards and getting stuff away from the boat. And if you're at that level, you're probably not going to be watching this to get tips on where to fish Wylie. But if you're fishing the main lake and some of those areas, and that's the other thing, I tell somebody this on a guide trip the other day, and we switched gears. I was like, these fish should be shallow. We should be having stuff in some creeks and blah, blah, blah. Everybody was And I said, let's go just switch gears. And we went out and started dragging their river channel, and we caught fish. So sometimes, for whatever reason, even when things are right and it's springtime and it's great fishing, things just kind of get locked up. And it's like they're not really. And I've heard somebody told me that yesterday or day before. I heard a couple of bad reports from Wylie, and the last time I fished, we caught, it was decent fish. It was good fishing. And then it was like, man, it's, locked down, shut down. And I don't think it's the whole lake. I think it's probably certain areas, but that can happen too. So,
yeah, Matthew was on there. Matthew will come in here in just a minute. Matthew Anthony, he was there yesterday, but we had a real high pressure come through yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he caught fish, but he couldn't get out of the dinks.
Yeah.
He said he didn't, no matter what he did, he couldn't get away from the dinks.
And sometimes
I don't want to cut you short. But we got a lot of guests to bring in. I thank you, my friend. Show him your turkey paw you got today.
Got my turkey.
He got him a big turkey today. So he got him some meat. Dieter, be safe down there, my friend.
Okay.
Thank you for coming in and sharing some knowledge with us. And we're going to move on to the next Lake Wylie fisherman and see if we can share a little bit more.
Y'all have a good night.
Stay safe. All right. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's bring a boat person in right now. There's Lee Floyd. Lee, what do you know?
Man, we've been nonstop since you got on. we've done put 5 fish on the boat, 2 over 20 pounds. So it's been a pretty good night. I got to trying to put them on some.
Well, Dieter just shared a good bit of information with us. I know you probably listened to it. Well, maybe didn't. If you just catch a fish, you probably wasn't listening.
Yeah, I compete with Dieter now. I give you a little bit of info, but he's a vault full of information right there.
Now, share what you think the day of the tournament's coming. What people coming to that lake that don't know it should start looking for, where you would think they would fish.
Okay, me, I'm a big fan of. I fish probably a couple of the same holes over and over, and they usually tend to pay off pretty good this time of year. What I like to do is, everybody knows about the South Fork around here. That's local fishermen. I come into the South Fork right outside of the hot hole. So what you do is when you put your boat in, you go to the right. You come up to the first main cutoff. You go up through there, go under the bridge. You guys know about it, but all you others that don't know this lake, head toward the hot hole, and you come around that sharp curve past the hot hole, and there's a huge flat. And I like to fish that flat because it's pretty shallow, and I usually do pretty good. That's where I'm at tonight, and within an hour, we've done put 5 fish on the boat, and 2 of them's over 20. So there's going to be a lot of veterans in here, I know, and that's a good spot. And I heard Dieter saying something about withers. I was up there the other night, and I was marking fish like crazy, but the temperature dropped real low, so I think that might have kind of got them a little scarce that night. But
yeah, David, I think that's where David and Jeff might be. I'm not sure. So, and David fishes that area a good bit, so we'll discuss withers with him a good bit here in just a minute.
That's right.
Now, is that where you're at now, back in the South Fork?
I am. I'm back here. This is my little honey hole. I think a lot of people, they see me out here when they do my tournaments and stuff. And
yeah,
you know, Richard, he's done a lot of fishing in this hole over the years. He told me when he seen me out here one time, it's a good hole, and I've caught my biggest blue out of this hole. These flats do pretty good. I see a lot of boats anchored up off of these flats, but you got to be careful when you come up in the South Fork, because if you don't know it, it's a good chance you get stuck out here. So
yes, sir.
So Navionics, got Navionics, try to follow through with it. But you local guys, y'all know how it is, man. This main channel, sometimes it'll shift up here in the South Fork, especially when the floods come through and push that sand out. So,
oh yeah,
you gotta be real careful with that.
Yeah, I about stuck my pontoon up in there. Thought the river channel wasn't where it used to be, and it had moved. And yeah, I marred the daggum nose of that rascal up, and it got a little dicey, but we got it out. Well, I hope y'all do good tonight and stay safe out there, Lee. Look forward to shaking your hand at the tournament, and I know there's a lot of other people out there that is going to look forward to it.
Yeah,
the boat traffic is probably going to get a little dicey if next Saturday is like today.
Right.
So be prepared, ladies and gentlemen, that is coming to Lake Wylie for the tournament. If it's going to be nice, hot, sunny weather, we're going to have some boat traffic, and we're going to have to deal with it, but that's just part of fishing. So out early, get in the backs of the creeks, and get away from the traffic so you can get your fishing done early.
Well, that's another good thing about the South Fork, too. You don't have a lot of recreational boat traffic up here. Either they fishing in here, or they're lost.
Right. Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate everything you're doing. I look forward to this tournament, man. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited.
I think so. I think so, too, Lee. Well, I appreciate everything you do, buddy, and appreciate you coming in and sharing a little bit of knowledge with us. And
oh, yeah.
I know we look forward to putting some fish on the boats.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate
y'all. Be safe out there with the family, buddy. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, let's go right here. Mr. Matthew Anthony, you got your mic turned off. Or do I got it turned off? You got your mic turned off, Matthew.
All that.
There you go. We got you now. Well, Matthew is a veteran of Lake Wylie. Been on Lake Wylie for many years, guys and gals, and we're going to pick his brain a little bit tonight. Thank you, Matthew, for coming in and sharing some knowledge with us on Wylie.
You're welcome. deer about covered it pretty good there. If you're trying to stay close to the landing, I like South Fork. So if I was leaving out of there, I'd probably go down there and go up in the South Fork somewhere. All in little pockets, every little pocket that branches off South Fork, you're gonna catch fish. They fish in every one of them when you go back in pockets. When you go up there to the hot hole now, where Lee's at, I know where Lee's at there. Once you make a turn there where Lee's at, you can't follow Navionics.
No.
Yeah, I got a new card, and that river channel's not where that Navionics says it is. No. You got to be careful up there, or you'll run in 1 foot of water.
Yep. Quick.
If you're going to try to make that bend there at the hot hole, you need to stay around to the left bank and stay tight to the bank.
Yes, sir.
And you can get up there and then ease out on that flat in different places on the right up through there. But all that is filled in up through there ain't but 4 or 5 foot deep. They fish all over that thing.
Yes. If you can figure out how to get back there where all that little old moving island that's out there, that's formed out there, that the birds all pile up, got some good fish in that daggum 6 to 12 inches of water back there. I don't know if they up there grabbing them a bird here and there or what they're doing, but there's some fish around that daggum place. And you can see the mud when they take off after bait or something. You can see it. Boom.
Now,
but it's dicey back there.
Them pockets that branch off to the South Fork in there, you can go back in them and get in there in about 7 or 8 foot of water and anchor and throw to the bank. Just line the bank. And you're going to catch fish because they come in there and run around in banks, especially when that sun gets up. After about 10 o'clock on, that sun shining in there, they'll come back in there around them banks.
Right. Now, as the day goes on, closer to, say, lunchtime, noontime, what should they expect? I know the bite usually starts breaking down a little bit then. You think they should start pulling out to a little bit deeper water, but in the creeks themselves still?
No, the last 2 weeks I've been staying in 7 or 8 foot or less all day long.
Okay.
And it's after lunch in that depth range. That Paul Creek up there, I know there's some fish caught in there last week. I had a buddy in there last week one day, and if you go in Paul Creek, that first fork to the right goes back in there.
Yeah.
If you go 5 foot of water, you'll catch fish.
I like it back there.
Every time I go back there into that one that breaks off to the right, once you get in Paul Creek, it breaks to the right. Every time I went back there and anchored, I've caught fish.
Yeah, back there next to where the wild willows are growing up out of the water right there.
Yeah, getting 5 foot of water and anchor your boat. Yep. And then just spread your rod out all the way around. You'll catch fish right there. In the back of Catawba Creek, you go back here in the back of Catawba Creek and stay on the right side, anywhere up that bank back there at the back where them buoys are.
Yeah, all the way back to the island.
Yeah, and 4 or 5 foot of water.
Yeah,
you'll catch fish. I caught fish in there yesterday evening. I went in there yesterday evening and I didn't even get my rods put out. I had one on.
There you go.
And that was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I went in there. I didn't stand there about an hour. I think I put 2 or 3 in the boat right there, just bam, bam, bam. I mean, just 15-pound fish, but
hey,
they pulled hard.
You daggum right, and that's fish coming to the scale. That's the way I look at it. We want everybody to weigh fish.
You'll catch fish if you'll get in that anywhere from, I'd say, 8 foot or less. You mean anchoring in 8 foot's good, as long as you're throwing back toward the bank.
Right.
You'll catch fish.
Yeah, I think so.
Somebody's gonna catch a big one.
Oh yeah, I believe they're gonna be some fish brought to the scales next Saturday.
There'll be some big ones up around the bank. Somebody will catch them.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to see. And I know the veterans on them boats. A lot of guys. Some of them guys maybe get to fish 2 or 3 times in a year. Maybe not even 2 or 3 times in a lifetime. They're gonna be on these boats. I know, Matthew, you're gonna carry a veteran with you, and that's going to be you able to put that guy on a fish of a lifetime, and just being able to see that veteran's face with that would make my life just knowing that I put him on something like that.
Just assume they reel in every one of them while they're there.
Yeah.
Just let them catch them. I tell you another spot.
OR for 1 ton fishing is going to be fishing off the bank right there at South Point. Reaffirm these bank fishermen, Matthew. That tournament could be won off the bank right there at South Point Boat Landing, couldn't it?
Yeah. To the parking lot, and you come down there to that first ramp over here on the right side. I've seen some real good fish caught right there beside the ramp.
Yeah. Hey, I've caught some real fish, good fish if you walk down across and around that little cove out off of that point. I've caught, and my 44 come off around that corner. So, you know, we want to keep all the boaters away from there. Let the bait fishermen have that spot.
And Dieter hit on another spot down there. If you go from South Point before you get to South Fork, that island on the left.
Yeah.
If you go around behind that island, go down below it, go around it, and go back in that creek back there. There's a little creek goes back in there. And I've anchored in there, and every time I've anchored in there, I've caught fish.
And, you know, all the way down that far bank is a steep cut bank, too.
Oh, yeah, that's a steep hill. All the way in there on your right will be that high hill.
Yeah, so it's going to hold good fish back through there, I do believe.
I've anchored between the island and that high hill.
Right.
That's about anywhere from 12 to 15 feet depth range right in there.
Yes, sir.
Going back in yonder, it'll get back yonder, and it'll do a Y. It's kind of two little pockets there. The one on the left where I've done the best, get in there about 5 feet and anchor and put your rods out. Every time I've anchored there, I've caught fish.
And see, that's a good spot if somebody can anchor up and fish the whole day, and when it's getting time to weigh in, pull anchor and head back and do what you got to do. It's just one of those spots that you could anchor up there for the day.
Yeah. And there's one other place down there you can go try too. If you go below Catawba Creek, and on that same side before you get to Mills Creek.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of that one, but when you get in there, you know, one goes to the right and one goes to the left, and one's back in there. Now I've anchored back there and done good.
Yeah, in the back of Mills Creek, you can do good, but they've had a lot of construction back there, so I don't know if the fish are wanting to hang around all that noise and stuff or not. You know, who knows? They might be curious. They might be curious like a cat, and look, you know, I don't know.
Before it narrows in to go back there to where they went on the bridge.
Yeah.
Go back to the bridge. Before it narrows in out there, I've caught them right there. And if you get out there and just anchor and just cover the whole area, I've caught them right there.
See, I've never really catfished back in that area, but we used to go back in there and crappie fish a lot and do pretty good. But
me and Glenn both fished it last year right there before it narrows in to go back there to the bridge where they're doing construction.
Right.
Me and Glenn fished right there. Glenn caught a 50-pound flathead in there last spring.
Oh, I hear you. I'm right.
I've caught several nice blues anchored right there.
Guys and gals, we just had two big veterans on here, and Lee just shared a lot of great information. Matthew, I appreciate you coming on. We still got a future show to do, my friend, and I look forward to doing it. Everybody, thank you, Matthew, for sharing a little bit of knowledge, and look forward to doing the tournament with you, my friend. We'll holler at you again.
All right. Appreciate it. See you.
Thank you. I see you. Hey, let's bring you something in here. Junior Warskow.
What's going on, my man?
Just another day in paradise, my friend.
So I'm finally getting to sit down. Long day finally over with.
There you go. Well, I won't hold you long. Just figured I'd pick your brain a little bit about how you going to fish the tournament and what advice you could give for somebody that's never been on the lake.
What I always do springtime, and last year it paid
Let me
off.
interrupt 1 second.
Okay.
Now, Junior just put a 54-pound flathead in the boat on Lake Wylie, guys and gals. So the flathead bite is turning on big time on Wylie. So go ahead, Junior. I just want to let them know that big fish you just caught.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm proud of that fish. I'm still stoked about it. Won some good money on it too, but last year I got pretty good on the flatheads and targeted them. I would say 10 foot and below, like Dieter said, you know, Matthew Anthony. I would fish shallow all day. I wouldn't go deep.
Well, we just lost him. Richard, I see you hanging out in there, buddy. I'll get you just a second. We're going to finish up the show with you. We just lost Junior. Let's bring David and Big Nasty in the house. Uh-oh, there's trouble. Thank you, Mike Turner. Thank you. I appreciate that, buddy.
Jeff's hiding over here.
Is it the rod limit on bank fisherman on Wylie on the tournament? Mike Turner is 4 rods. 4 rods. I'll bring you in a minute, Junior. You dropped out on us. We'll get back to you in a second. David.
Yes, sir.
Where are you fishing at, buddy?
Hey, we're fishing up here past Dale's in the moving water. They're really turning some water right now, so we're setting up here.
Really?
Yeah, I put about a 25 in the boat a little while ago. Just trying something different.
Okay. Well, I was really wanting to try to pick your brain a little bit about withers. I know you know a good bit about withers. You fish withers pretty hard. And that's a good place for people that don't have fast boats or scared or maybe kind of nervous of making a long run on Wylie. That would be a good place for them to at least start out.
Absolutely. Anywhere before the fire department back is good.
Right.
Right there at the bridge.
Right.
All around that bridge, and the fire department's a good spot. The little cove to the right before you get to the fire department's good. Right there on that point.
Right.
All those places.
That point does pretty good.
Well, that was only. I mean, I've caught a lot of flatheads off that point.
It's kind of a public hole. I know a lot of people that fishes that hole, but there's other little spots back through there that you really need to pay attention to your navionics that can really find you some better fish, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I like fishing on those points. They got shallow water back behind it in that cove. Then you got deep water off to the right, and you got the point. And there's a lot of bait fish usually hang out right there. I mean, if any of these places on this lake that got a point, if you can find a cove or a pocket right there beside it where there's shallow water, be probably just as good as any place we talked about tonight. I mean,
right.
Yeah, you don't have to run too far back up the river and worry about getting stuck. I mean, and then I fish a lot over there where Dieter talked about near the island before you get to the South Fork.
Yeah.
The island off to the left, all up in there. You got a shallow cove with about 2 foot of water in it. And then around the back side of that island and all in front of that's a big shallow flat.
Yep.
So all in there is good. People don't have to go very far.
Right. And I know you're not a bait dragger. You're more of an anchor fisherman.
Me and them
nobody really covered that spot. Dieter covered where the lake actually splits. The river channel splits in the lake right there at the condos. There's a big long flat in between there. Yep. That I never see anybody drag baits. And I guess because that part of the lake gets a lot of boat traffic. But I'm sure it would produce a lot of fish if somebody wanted to challenge dragging baits through there. So
there's a lot of fish in that whole
spot.
Oh,
yeah, a lot of fish.
I got about 50-pound blue out there last year right at the end of the year. I mean, there's a lot of fish hanging in that area.
Right. Well, I hope you and Big Nasty do good tonight. I know you done caught a couple.
We're going to move in a little bit, get back up on the flat up there across from Dale's Landing.
Yeah.
There's a big 5 or 6 foot flat all in between them 2 bridges. We was going to get on it earlier today and fish that flat, but there was so many people over playing in kayaks.
Right.
I just come on up past the bridge up here right before you get to 85.
Right.
And trying it. But we're going to get back up on that flat here in a little bit and try it. Because that whole flat 5, 6, 7, 8 foot deep.
Right. And then fish are coming up in there to feed. And y'all throwing brim tonight, right?
That's what we caught. We're using brim tonight.
Okay. There you go, guys.
I caught that blue one. They worked just fine.
Yeah. Brim, perch, and
I've caught most of the fish down here on bluegill heads. So
yep. So
I'd rather have them in the summertime than anything. I can go catch perch and other fish, but I'd assume have bluegills and anything. Some people won't use them. I don't know why.
Yeah. We got one on here. He's laughing. I see him down here in the corner over here. Y'all can't see him, but he's laughing about the brim.
You see my fish I post. You seen my fish I post all summer. You've seen them. All of them on brim. Big ones.
You got Richard in there?
Huh?
You got Richard Warscaw in there?
He ain't pulled up yet, but he can hear you.
He don't do no bluegill, boy. He won't let you on him. Ain't gonna happen, brother.
No.
Get off my boat with that bluegill.
Well, David, Big Nasty, I hope y'all have fun out there tonight. Put some fish in the boat. I know you already have. Be
Yeah,
safe out there, my friends.
I would just tell people to find the point. Look on their avionics and find those points that got deep and shallow water around them.
Right.
And fan across it. It's probably just as good as about anything this time of the year. And there are plenty of them up and down the river.
Yeah, there's a lot of points on Wylie, that's for sure. Any creek mouths, any daggone little bitty coves off of those creeks, it forms a point. So check them out, guys. David, Jeff, we thank you for coming in and sharing some knowledge with us. And I know you're looking forward to coming down there and meeting our veterans and raising a little bit of money for them and shaking some hands. We appreciate it.
I'll be down there about 3 a.m. Well, I live around here and I know what's coming.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's coming. It's coming.
It's going to be busy. And I'm going to be about 3 a.m. I'll be down there waiting on you.
Well, I'll probably be down there setting up. So we'll see you down there with a cup of coffee in hand.
I will be there.
All right, David, Jeff, y'all be safe. Thank you, guys. See you. All right, Junior, we got you back. You keep jumping off of here.
Yeah, I went to swipe while I was reading comments, and somehow I exit out of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So everybody's covering a lot of good stuff, about points and creek channels and channel edges and the creeks. Would you drag baits down through some of those creeks?
I have, and I've had good luck. Before, on my last blue that I caught, that's what I caught. I was coming out of Catawba Creek. Right there at the mouth, I was dragging. That's when I caught my PB on my blue that was 42 pounds. But you get there in the back, like they said, you got to be careful once you get past that island back there, because I've hit a bunch of stuff in the water. Just like South Fork, you got a flat on the left and you got a flat on the right there on the hot hole. Both sides pay off real good. You just stay out of the center. That's the best thing I say, is stay far left or far right. And you do all right. You just follow that river channel going up in there, because it will change on you.
Yeah.
I've got stuck myself. Last year, I was going through my same path that I had saved on my fish finder, and it moved on me after that flood. And next thing I know, I'm on the sandbar.
Yeah. Is that where you knocked a hole in your boat?
No, that was in South Fork. That was on up about a mile from there. I was just cruising about 25, 30, the same path I always take. Knocked a big old hole in my boat and about lost my boat. I had to take it down there to the island, breached it up on the island, and had, I think, 4 or 5 pumps pumping water out.
Ain't right.
My brother got from 85 to that to hot hole in about 6 minutes to help me.
Yeah, Richard don't play, does he? He hammered down.
He don't. He helped me out.
I recommend everybody get you some of that double sticky tape they show on TV. You can at least put something over there to slow the water down.
Or have an extra pump to pump water. I got 3 pumps in my boat.
Right.
I do. I got 3 800-gallon pumps. And what we done was we threw all the weight in the back of the boat, and I trimmed it all the way up and kept the front of the boat out of the water all the way to the landing. I didn't stop for bridges or nothing. I said, they going to pull me, they going to pull me.
There you go.
But I wasn't stopping until I got to the landing. But I would tell everybody to stay. What helped me out last year when I was targeting the flatheads, 12 foot and below, like they were saying, anchor up on some points, load the bait down. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared to throw in some deep water too, because matter of fact, I was looking on my pictures as y'all was talking tonight. Last year, I put in 2 30s and a 42 in the boat, and I caught them out of 21 foot of water, but I was sitting on the bank side too.
Right.
And I was using, like David just said, I was using bluegill. That's what I got them on, live bluegill. I had perch, shad, and bluegill out.
Right.
My brother, you ain't putting no bluegill on his boat. That's like putting a banana on the boat.
He's gonna come around one of these days, but yeah, but he does good with what he throws.
He really does.
And it's all the bait that you're really confident in throwing and you've done good in. And if that's your confident bait, then by all means throw it. If chicken is your confident bait, throw it.
Yes, sir. Don't be scared to throw nothing out, because Danny Moore, a good buddy of mine, has fished some of them river hog tournaments that Lee and them's doing. He was catching big fish on night crawlers.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what he was fishing with. He run out of bait, and I was like, pull over to my boat and I'll give you some bait. He was fishing. He's like, nope, I got night crawlers coming. Come back to that hole he set up with the same spot he was in, and he won the tournament on night crawlers.
There you go. That's what I've been waiting for somebody to tell me.
And that is the truth. If he's on here, I'm not sure if he does the YouTube thing, but Lee's on here. He could comment, and there were several other people out there. He won them tournaments on night crawlers. He
There
says
you
they
go.
got to come from Walmart, though. That's what he said. It's a Walmart brand night crawler.
Well, I'm screwed because I'll never go back to Walmart.
I don't mess with Walmart neither. It's too much to take on. I go in there for some hamburger meat, and I come out with fishing rods, ponchos, life jackets.
They will never get another penny of mine, period. Ever, never, ever. You can cut my head off and roll me down the aisle before I go in that cotton picking place.
I had to go there over Easter to get dye for my kids because that's the only place I would find it. But
I'd pay $100 more for a piece of bubble gum to keep me from going in that cotton picking
trust
place.
me, I rode around 2.5 hours before I went there. But anybody fishing that tournament, you can stay within 2 miles of the landing, catch good fish. You don't have to go super far. You've got Mills Creek, you've got Seven Oaks, Catawba Creek, you got South Fort Withers right across. I've caught good fish. Last year this time, buddy of mine caught a 60-pound fish on his little John boat. He was 30 yards off the bank where everybody's going to be bank fishing. He caught a 60-pound blue.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to keep all the boaters away from the banks, letting them know on the shows and stuff ahead of time to give them plenty of room because that bank, they can move multiple places on that bank if they feel like it. They can spread out because they can't use but 4 rods.
So that's a little disadvantage. It's a 10-rod limit, right, per boat?
Yes, no, 8-rod limit per
8
boat.
rods. Okay.
Yeah, because they got
I
to
would
use
tell
4 on the
everybody
bank.
it's just, I don't know, find running water, structure, and shallow.
Yeah.
If you can find running water and shallow, sit there the whole time. If you can find some structure and decent water where you can get to the shallow, that's even better because throw your baits right in front of them. Like
That's
last year, I threw your
and live
bobbers.
baits.
Yep, I threw your bobbers that we had, the first generation, I call them. I got from threw it right in front of them trees, and I let it stick. Now I lost 2 of them because they pulled it under the tree, but I still seen the light. But set that bait right in front of that structure.
We'll fix you up, my friend.
Like I said, if they do that, I stuck by that last year. I found running water. If I didn't have good running water, I found structure and shallow, and it paid off every time. And last year this time, I was out there every trip. I was putting 2 or 3 30s and 35, 38 flatheads in the boat every trip, every other day.
Yep. Well, there you go, guys and gals. Man just told you what to look for, what to do when you get down here. We've had some great information tonight, Junior, from a lot of great Wylie fishermen. And
it pretty much got covered for me.
The last one is your brother. We're getting ready to bring him on. He's
That's
been a big help for the first tournament. And y'all both have, from, I guess, the 3 going on 4 years that I've watched y'all fish, it's been amazed at the fish that I've seen y'all bring in and the information and the help that y'all give other people. That's the reason I wanted to bring y'all in, is because y'all don't mind sharing with others.
I don't. A lot of people in the catfish world don't want to tell you nothing. The way I look at it, as long as you put in the big fish back CPR, and I'll tell you where to fish at. I'll send anybody to a fishing hole. A lot of people's like, you're crazy. You're crazy. I want them to have the same excitement I had. Like when I take my kids, I want their kids to do the same.
Yeah, but they could go to that same hole 2 days later, and them fish might not even be there. Them blues move.
Like I said, we snuck out there last night a little bit, and I sent my buddy up on the north end, up there where David and Big Nasty's at. They was right there on that, right below the 85 bridge, and he put a 42-pounder. He just texted me earlier and sent me a picture. So them fish are scattered right now, but I won't be 3/4 of a mile from the boat landing at all. You ain't got to go
be
far.
dragging baits or anchored up?
I'm going to try to do both, but I burnt my trolling motor up, so I'm trying to get a new iPilot or get mine rebuilt before Saturday. I'm ordering the kit tomorrow because I'm going on vacation tomorrow. I'm going to Arkansas to fish. So hopefully my parts come back. Yeah, I'm going to pull my boat down and try to fish Mississippi River and the Arkansas River again.
Well, be safe out there, boy.
We're leaving out about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Well, you be safe and give us a holler when you get back and let us know how you do. If you get on a pig, send me some pictures.
I sure will, man. Like I said, can't wait for the tournament to meet everybody.
Yeah, take care and please stay safe and give us a holler when you get back in the world.
And I'll help out with bait too. Like I said, somebody needs some bait. I'm gonna be out there a couple of days trying to stack up on some bait and hopefully use. My brother's got a big bait tank. I know he's gonna have it up and going and try to help him fill it up for everybody.
That'll work. That'll work. Yep, we gonna have bait. That's for sure. Junior, thank you. Y'all be safe. Get you some rest.
Yeah, I'm about to get in the shower and take a. Yeah, I'm gonna take a little power nap, and it's probably gonna take me. Well, my girls are going with me this trip. Last trip I got there 11 hours 15 minutes, so it's gonna be a 12 and a half hour road trip with them pulling my boat.
Yeah, no doubt. Be safe. I hope you got some extra bearings and hubs and stuff and tires. There you go.
Yes, sir. I got 2 extra bearings and I got an extra spare tire, and I meant to get up with Big Nasty. I bought another one from him, so I had 2 spares.
There you go. Better be safe than sorry, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Y'all be safe. Have fun. Take care of them youngins.
Always. You too. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Mr. Richard, I know we've had you in the wind sitting back and watching everybody. Appreciate you waiting out and coming in here at the last to bring up the rear end, but I know it's not the least because you're actually the last one I wanted to finish up with anyway. First and foremost, I want to thank you for what you've done with the first tournament, helping me out tremendously. I couldn't have got it done without you.
It's exciting. I was glad to do it for you.
And this one, I'm gonna have to rely on you a good bit too, and a lot of others. This is gonna be a little overwhelming. A lot more people than double the people than what we had the first time.
We don't talk like that. We take it as it comes. We got this.
Oh yeah, we got this. That's for sure. I just want to make sure it looks good and the veterans are excited and have fun. That's the main part about it. So what a little bit of knowledge you want to share that maybe we haven't covered so far with everybody we've had on the show so far?
Well, I mean, they've nailed it, man. Like,
yep.
They've nailed everything. Me, myself, I'll be fishing on the banks. Like, I know I'll be in a boat, but I'll be throwing baits on the bank. So I would tell the bank fishermen, don't try to throw your rod out there as far as you possibly can. Like, I'll be on a boat catching my fish literally 3-4 feet off the bank.
Yes, sir.
And Patriots took me out of one of my favorite spots, which is right there at the boat ramp. So
yep. And my spot too.
That's we me and the wife caught a 50-something there this next week, last year this time. And then me and the preacher went out there the next week and caught 2 40s, like right there where the bank fishermen are going to be fishing.
Oh, yeah. And right off that point is where the biggest arch that I ever marked in my life on a graph. Biggest arch I've ever seen on anybody's graph was right off that freaking point right there.
Oh, yeah.
So, guys, I mean, really, the bank fishermen might have the advantage on this one.
I can tell you now, if you hadn't cut me short, I probably would have fished from the bank.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
That area right there, that time of year.
Yeah, this time of year, that can be a hot area, buddy, because, you know, another month and a half is when I put that big 44 on the boat, and they could have flipped a quarter from the bank and hit my boat with it.
Yeah. They covered, I mean, South Fork, there's a lot of blues, a lot of flatheads in there. Flatheads are all over the lake, but if someone's coming down and they want to try to specifically go after some big flatheads, you're going to have to make a little ride. But when you come out of the ramp, go left up the lake and just keep going till you see the train trestle. When you see that train trestle, from that train trestle till the second bridge after the train trestle, which is 85 bridge, you can fish anywhere within there and you can catch big flatheads.
Yeah.
There is several big flatheads caught there every spring.
Well, Richard, I tried to pull up some Navionics, and I downloaded a bunch of Navionics pictures, but when I put all them over here to my green screen, what it done, you see this one right here, that was actually a wide angle picture. What it done was zoom in and spread it out.
Yeah.
And I thought, and I worked for 2 hours. I deleted every one of them pictures, reshot them, zoomed back out even further, and it still done the same cotton picking thing. So I had a good one of the train trestle, and I got rid of it. I got tired of messing with it. But around that trestle was a lot of debris too.
There's a lot of structure up there.
And we got some people that's coming out here that are river fishermen that do some bumping, but you could bump about like you do, but use your trolling motor like a bass fisherman. I would think around a lot of that debris and maybe pull them up a flathead, don't you think?
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you spend the time in between them bridges, you will catch some flatheads. That's a given. That place is just it's crazy the amount of flatheads that's in that area.
Yeah. And guys and gals, when you're moving down that water, slow down every once in a while and look in the river channels because there's some rock piles out there, don't you think, Mr. Richard?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So, and usually around them rock piles, there's a lot of bait. And if you've never been on Lake Wylie and you look on your screen and you see a mess of look like spaghetti on the bottom, drop your sabiki rig because you on top of perch, white perch.
And here's the thing, like I know Patriot and me, like we want everybody to catch fish.
Yes.
And I'll give you my number when you get there. If you're concerned about catching fish, I'll be out there with Justin Fishing Fetish and Gabby, his daughter. We're going to start fishing that Wednesday prior to the tournament. And the reason we're going out there is so we can locate these fish for y'all guys that are struggling. So if you are struggling, don't hesitate to reach out to us and we'll make sure you catch some fish.
Yeah, that's the main thing is everybody get my number. And if you don't have Richard's number or somebody else on the lake, call me. I will contact these people and say, hey, look, where's these fish at? What are they doing? What they need to do? Now, we can't make them bite for you.
Nope.
That's on you. But we're going to dang sure try to put you in there. Freddie Beck, you can get North Carolina out of state North Carolina license and fish off the bank. There's going to be quite a few fishermen off the bank. And like Richard just said, and I just said, that tournament can be won off the bank right there at South Point. It can be won right there.
Yeah, and one thing you need to be careful about is Lake Wylie, which I'm sure y'all know from watching Dieter's videos, but Lake Wylie is divided with South Carolina and North Carolina.
Yes.
So if you're just going to purchase the North Carolina license, which is fine, I would recommend staying from the boat ramp left, which is north.
Yep.
If you go right, once you start getting down towards South Fork, that the state line does start coming up in there. And,
Yep.
and if you get caught on the other side of that line, they can get you. So
yeah,
there's just as good fishing, in my opinion, better fishing if you go left of the ramp and you're North Carolina and you don't have to worry about it. But if you go south, make sure you're looking at your maps or download Navionics and make sure you know where that state line is.
Or have both license.
Yeah.
And but if you're like me, this time of year, I'm throwing crappie. I'm throwing crappie. I'm throwing game fish.
Yeah,
you better stay in North Carolina. I promise you. You better stay in North Carolina if you're using game fish.
Yeah, don't even try to use crappie on South Carolina side.
No,
if you want to use crappie, use it on the North Carolina side.
Yeah. So just stay safe and obey all the state rules and regulations as far as boating and fishing, and y'all should be just fine. Do be prepared if it's going to be a nice, bright, sunny day like today was here. It was 83 here in the Carolinas. If you're not from North Carolina, beautiful day. Lake's probably going to get a little busy. Hopefully we can crowd this ramp out and make them have to go to another ramp, though, Richard.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, everybody roll in early, buddy.
That's
Come rolling in about 3:30, 4 o'clock. Let's crowd this ramp out and force them daggone wake boats to go somewhere else.
That's how I look at it. Like, the bigger this tournament is, the more parking space we take. The more parking space we take, the more it's ours.
Yeah. Now they'll have to run a good little bit from the next landing up there to us, but most of the time if they go south, they'll stay south.
Yep.
And not a lot of them go north anyway to Dales. Most of them will run south.
Yeah, most of your traffic will run south, which is right of the boat ramp if you're looking out the boat ramp.
Right.
There is a famous sandbar down there on the left, and they like to crowd around that sandbar. So if you
And let me tell you though,
be careful.
Let me tell you though, early, if you want to make a run to that sandbar.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You can put fish in the boat right there at that sandbar.
Wylie's just all around a good fishery.
Yeah.
This time of year. Matter of fact, all year round. Like I fish all these lakes around here, and I've seen Wylie. Lake Watery used to be one of my favorite fisheries, and
Yeah.
I've seen Lake Watery go down and Wylie rise, and Wylie's actually one of the better fisheries around here. So
it's blowed my mind that the flatheads are starting to come out of Wylie.
yeah, we've been catching flatheads for a long time.
Yeah, but
the size of the flatheads nowadays is just we've never seen nothing like that.
no, yeah, Richard, because you remember back when there wasn't nothing but channel cats in there.
Yeah.
And you'd hear of a flathead being caught once in a while, but you didn't know if it was true or not. And you'd hear of a big blue caught once in a while, but you didn't know if it was true or not. And every once in a while, you'd get a rod and reel that would be snatched off the line, off the bank, or off a boat that you'd see, and you never knew about it. Or you'd chase somebody's jug that was running up and down the river, and you never could catch it. You know there was some good fish in there, but now they're showing face. You know what? 2.5 years ago, daggum new school, in 260s back to back within a month of each other.
Yep.
And then Dieter, the next year put that 62, his biggest blue. You called a bunch of big ones. Glenn, Matthew, all these guys had put some pigs in Wylie. And I don't think that's one thing. I love Jeff Manning to death. I think the world of him, and I know you do too. I disagree with him and Dieter about one thing. I do not think Wylie has topped out.
I think
Too much food.
I think Wylie has.
Reason I'm saying it, and you can disagree, is the DNA that's in Wylie.
Yeah.
You've got DNA from about 10 different lakes.
I know several 60+ pound fish caught every year. Like a lot of them are out of Wylie.
Right.
But when we get to the 70, 80 pound range, I feel like they're there, but I don't feel like it's the way we want it to be. We're trying to think we want it to be, but I think Wylie's maxed out around if you catch a 70 pound fish, you got a really high end fish on Wylie. But
you got that top 1 to 2% of Wylie.
But there's so many 40 to 60 pound class on Lake Wylie. It's unreal, and that's what makes me feel like that's where we've topped out at, because there is thousands of 40 to 60 pound fish caught every year on Wylie. Like there's a lot.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Agreed. And and there's a lot of fish guys and gals. What he's talking about, these people are not YouTubers. So y'all never see these fish. Wylie produces a lot of great fish. Fun fishing. So come and expect it to get your line stretched, your rods bent, some of a good fishery. And that's called Lake Wylie. It's been our home for many years, Richard.
We will see several high-end fish.
I believe so.
Oh yeah,
I believe so.
I'm scared.
Yeah, I get
big fish.
Yeah.
Fish. There's gonna be several big fish. Like it's gonna be good.
I love to see everybody come in with a pig. Or my buddy Ray Rushaw, he's up in Juneau, Alaska. He's a brother of mine. Springtime, Alaska, rain and snow and clear skies. Go figure. They can have that snow this time of year, can't he? But Richard, I appreciate you sharing all this information with us. We've covered a lot of good information. That if people fishing the tournament would have really paid attention, then they can catch fish.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of fish caught, and there's going to be a lot of big fish caught. It's just your prime time right now for Lake Wylie. This is the best time of the year to have a tournament on Wylie.
Oh yeah, yeah. it can be a little dicey as far as the amount of boaters that get on the weekend. But if you do what everybody said, get in the backs of these creeks, get away, get up shallows, you'll pretty much stay away from them. Now you're gonna get rocked once in a while by some of these wake boaters. That ain't nothing we can do about that until they outlaw them cotton picking things. But until then, just stay prepared, stay safe. And bank fishermen, you don't have to throw for the center of the lake. Now, you might want to put one rod out there in that channel because right around that point of South Point, guys, you can hit that channel with about a 25-foot, 20, 30-foot cast off of that bank. You can hit that river channel.
Yeah.
But one thing about it, when you go to reel back in, you better stand up tall. You better rear back on it and real fast to get it off of that ledge because some of them ledges are pretty sharp. I think there's some shell right in there, don't you?
You get a flathead on, you'll find that ledge real fast.
You ain't lying.
They call it there for a reason.
Hey, I've drug baits through there and turned to pull them up onto that flat in between the two river channels and cut 5 lines at one time. Just like somebody went down through there with a razor blade and cut my lines. Didn't even hardly bend the rods, Richard. The rods went poop, and the lines went slack.
You get your flathead, you can feel that ledge because he'll keep trying to bury himself into that ledge.
Yeah. So, it's I would have to walk down there and throw a rod off the end of the cut right there beside the dock just to see if I can get me one out of that cove because. You remember, what was it, last year during that hurricane? I was sitting down there with Jeff and Lee Hoffman and all them was out there fishing in that mess. I was fishing on the bank right there, throwing over in that cove. And I caught 4 flatheads that day.
Oh, yeah.
Right there in that little shallow cove right there.
Oh, yeah.
People don't realize there's a ton of muscle in that little old shallow cove right there.
Yeah.
So the fish are there, guys. Go ahead.
The thing I want to say is, please don't hesitate to call us. Don't be shy. I'm literally going out there for y'all if y'all start struggling to try and help you catch fish. So don't be scared to give us a call. We'll try the best we can to put you on some fish.
Right. Give it to guys. This is going to be a good tournament. Give it 2 hours. I want you to give it 2 hours of the best you can do. And if you're not getting on fish, please call us. But I want you to give it 2 hours. Lake Wylie will surprise you and give you fish. You just got to try her. So, try your skills. You might surprise yourself. Try your skills. Anything else, Richard? Next week, Richard, I'm going to get you and probably a couple others to come to the house if you get a chance. And we're going to go over some things, what y'all will expect the day of the tournament. The sign-in, the weigh-ins, we'll go over a lot of that. We're going to meet before then and talk things out and try to go over what y'all can expect the day of the tournament.
Yeah, because by this Wednesday, we'll know exactly what we need to be doing.
Yeah. That being said, God bless America. God bless each and every one of you. And we'll see y'all, next Monday night and then next Wednesday night. See y'all. Good night.